To think we had to wait a whole year for this game, all thanks to this evil Russian bastard. But hey guys, welcome back to another review roundup here on Blue Crescent Studio, and this time it's another Nintendo game, and it's Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. It's finally out, so now we're going to check on 5 of the top critics in the industry and see what's the game about, what they're thinking about the game, and of course to look at what the review scores of the game. Is it a recommend? Is it a miss? Should it have not come out at all? We're going to find out in the review roundup. So first up we got Nintendo Life, who gave a score of 9 out of 10. Here's Chris with the review.
Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp is a delightful reimagining of two classic GBA strategy titles. The gameplay here remains as endlessly addictive, finely balanced, and challenging as ever, and the addition of a handful of modern conveniences and the ability to play against friends online makes for a slick overall package. This is the sort of game you'll reserve a permanent space for on your console, a timeless experience you'll keep tucked away on your Switch for the foreseeable future.
Okay, thanks Chris. So that's Nintendo Life, and I must say, out of all the reviews I look at, they had the most glowing review out of them all. And you know, some people going to murmur and say, well, of course they did. It's Nintendo. Nintendo Life, Nintendo. But no, these guys have been very fair over the years, so you can trust their scores. So, you know, looking at it, they simply love the remake and how clean and crisp they love about it. Everything about it was simply crisp and clean, about the aesthetics, but more importantly, they love how modernized these classic games were. They obviously love the originals that came out on Game Boy Advance and believe they were both good games, and it transitioned well with some new upgraded features that made the game even better. Like for instance, the voice acting I can understand, remaster soundtrack, as all of these things will be a welcome change and upgrade for anybody. Next up is Game Informer, who gave a score of 8.5 out of 10. Here's Chris once more.
Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp might not include much new material, but it presents a strong case that classic games don't always have to change to be relevant again. Sometimes, they just need a second chance.
Okay, welcome back guys, that's Chris. And the review was another good review, but they had a bit of pressing issues with the game based on their review. What I read, what dog points for Game Informer was they're clearly Advance Wars 2 was the better of the package. It's the best one in the package. Normally you expect is the sequel, they clean up on some things in the first one, but they believe that they had an opportunity to also do some work on the first one to match the second one. They did not like the pacing in the first game, so that bogged down the score for them. But overall they were pretty happy with the game, and they also, with a score of 8.5, you can see that they recommend it. Okay guys, let's move on to Destructoid, who gave it a score of 8.5 out of 10. Here's Chris once more.
Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp is a tough sell to some for a variety of reasons. Straight up, a lot of folks likely aren't going to want to pay full price to experience these games all over again, and I get it. But I found myself falling in love with the Advance Wars universe for the second time in my life, despite occasionally going back to my still working GBA copies. I really hope this leads to a series resurgence, and Nintendo, way forward, both use this opportunity to move the franchise forward from the ground up.
Guys, welcome back. So Destructoid have an interesting take on their review of the game. They believe that it's a much tougher sell to recommend this game to newcomers. You know, they believe it's going to be much harder for newcomers to get into the game, surprisingly enough. But they do believe if you are a fan of the originals, you love the originals back on Game Boy Advance, this is for you. This is a great addition to your Nintendo Switch package, because everything about the game is much better and made the game much more greater in their eyes. So Destructoid says it's a recommend at 8.5. Now you know we love to balance things here, and while we've been seeing great 9 out of 10 and 8 out of 10 scores, we try to balance it by trying to find a score on the other side of the spectrum. And the lowest score, credible score we could find is GameSpot 7 out of 10. Here's a bit of snippet of the review from GameSpot.
What makes Advance War 1+2 Reboot Camp an exciting prospect today is the same as what made the games compelling when they were first released. Fun and approachable strategic gameplay that is built on a solid foundation. While the first title certainly shows its age in the latter stages, the moments of magic that earned Advance Wars a passionate fanbase are still there. If turn-based tactical combat is your thing, there is plenty to sink your teeth into here.
Okay, welcome back. As you can see, GameSpot is not saying it's a bad game. They actually think it's a good game. But to echo a bit of what Game Informer said, is that the first game really showed his age in this one. It really bogged down the overall package. It's not bad, but it could have been a bit spruced up to be much what the second game will do. And more importantly, they're one of the few people I see really dig into the online aspect of the game. But yes, guys, there is an online in this game, and it's not really talked about as much because yes, it's an afterthought. But GameSpot had a problem. While the online is functional, their biggest issue is that they wish to flow together than instead of you taking turns, because some turns can be lengthy and it can be a bit boring to just keep waiting to see your opponent make a move while there's no real communication like in local play to find out what's going on the other side. Why is he taking 15 minutes to make a move? So understandable, and again GameSpot gave it 7 out of 10. And finally we move on to Screen Rant, that gives the game a 4.5 out of 5. Here's what they got to say about the game.
Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp is a fantastic remake of the Game Boy Advance titles. Those who enjoyed the originals will no doubt appreciate seeing the games reworked in a faithful way, while new players will find a pair of turn-based tactics games that are a great choice for newcomers to the genre or those who want something bright and engaging on the go.
Okay, and welcome back, and also final review. Screen Rant basically loved it. They loved everything about the game. They had hardly any problem. They mentioned a bit about the pacing in the first game, but they especially loved the fact that taking this game on the go, it was such an on the go experience, which is not surprising. It came from the Game Boy Advance, so to be a handheld experience is understandably one of the greater things about the game. Overall, the game got a very good score of 82% from Metacritic after 50 reviews. That's not bad at all, and it is add to the great collection of games that is going to be played, or can be played, on the Nintendo Switch in this first quarter, all leading up to Zelda. And we even got word, a surprise drop-in of the new DLC for Xenoblade 3 that's coming out even next week. So Switch fans, Nintendo fans, are really living the life right now. I must admit, I have never played Advance Wars myself. The game I love the most for intelligent systems. I'm more of a Fire Emblem guy, and that was even more recently thanks to Three Houses. So I'm new into the whole strategy RPG, and I was keenly looking at this game to see if I can expand my horizons, to try another game in the genre, another series in the genre. And since it's made by the same people who made Fire Emblem, it seems this is a good step. The reviews, the critics, they love it. Majority of them love it. As I said, one of the weakest review I found was a GameSpot, and I could understand the first game having a bit of aging issue since this is the all of the two games. But for an handheld experience as well, it seemed like a no-brainer, guys. I know you guys are flooded with SRPGs, and maybe you're trying to save room for the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC as well as Legend of Zelda. But I think I'm going to try it out. I'm kind of excited to do more in the genre, and this seemed that it would ease me in a bit better than probably like this guy 4 or 5 or 6. So yeah, guys, that's it. Not bad. Again, Nintendo on a roll. I promise you guys, this is not only Nintendo games we do here. We are waiting for another large game from the other third parties. I think the next one will be the Star Wars game that's coming out at the top of May there. So we'll definitely look into that as well, because I love all games on all systems, You're not just Nintendo, but I did grow up with Nintendo first. But yeah, guys, thanks for sticking around here. Thanks to hearing the review roundup. Again, it seems that's a recommendation, from the critics. They loved it. It is 80% on Metacritic, is nothing to sniff at. And we promise to have more. So please like and subscribe here, and check out everything we have here at Blue Crescent Studio. We look at games, we look at movies, we look at animated films, we look at anime, and of course we do our own Blender skits. But yeah, thanks again for hanging out with me. I'm MM. I will see you next time.